Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Let me adjust my camera just a little. It's been a while. Dock Street Brewing. I have not had anything from Dock Street Brewing, honestly, years. Pre-COVID, probably. But I was in a local shop. I saw this. Postie. Italian. New Zealand, sorry. Pilsner. There's no date on it. I just bought it. Hope it's fresh. But it's a Pilsner. New Zealand, so hops are involved. Anyway, excited to dive into it. Here we go. Dock Street Brewing. It is their Postie New Zealand style Pilsner. Like I said, I don't think there's a date on the can. Over here it says 5.1% alcohol by volume. This modified single decoction Pilsner was brewed with our fellow South Philly friends at Brewery ARS. Hopped in the kettle with New Zealand hops Waiiti and Rawaka, then dry hopped with more of both alongside the distinctly aromatic Nelson Sauvignon. Done and done. Give it one more look-see for a date. Here we go. Maybe at the end of the review, I'll look it up on our social media, get an idea. You know, New Zealand pills, listen, we are smack dab the day after Christmas, so we are in the throes of winter. I'll drink it, whatever. But it tends to be a summery beer, so we'll see if that tends to be the case with the sucker. Label-wise actually caught my eye. Not a big fan of Dock Street, a bunch of their art, but for some reason this one kind of did it to me. My eyes drifted down. I saw New Zealand Pilsner. That's how these things go down. So yeah, as far as the beer looks, you can see it's got this nice soft kind of haze you would get from a typical kind of craft brewery kind of Pilsner. Orange, maybe a little bit darker than we typically expect from most Pilsner. Not egregiously orange. Index finger, really soapy, nice soapy, creamy kind of head to it. White as white could be, and definitely looks the part of what you'd expect kind of a Pilsner. Let's see if we can get a nose. Ooh, very citrusy. Very citrusy. Wow. You know, not that I'm not getting a little bit of tropical fruit here. Not that I'm getting even a little bit of peaches here. When you think of these Nelson Sauvignon hops, you think of New Zealand hops, I think of tropical fruit. And I think of maybe a little bit of green kind of floating around in there. Not a big precursor to a big bitter and greenish type of vibe, but very much citrus on the nose. Very, very vibrant citrus. Fruit galore. Definitely drinking this blind, or smelling this blind. I would guess this would be somebody's little hazy pale, you know, as opposed to a Southern Hemisphere hopped New Zealand style pills. But it smells really, really nice, regardless of the if it fits some kind of box that BJCP kind of dictates. Anyway, I'm just gonna dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's delicious. I'm curious to see how old this is now, because it tastes relatively fresh. I do know Dock Street has its roots are very, very old school. I believe, I think this is from when we used to do the radio show, because we had Dock Street on, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think Dock Street and Yards were kind of, they were brothers maybe, or family related at Yards, and then they split up and one kept Yards and one opened Dock Street. So technically they've been around a long time, so they have their roots in kind of old schoolness, and that kind of shows up here, especially if this is an older beer. But as far as the way this beer kind of shows itself now, it's very much kind of like a little fruity, little hazy pale lager. Bursting at the seams with citrus. Would never guess this is like Southern Hemisphere New Zealand hoppiness. Very much citrus. You are getting pineapple. You are getting some tropical fruits in here. But really, for me, it is very, very bright citrus. Absolutely summer in a glass kind of beer. Nice malt bill on it, too. It's definitely not this kind of just throw in the cleanest, whitest Pilsner malt you can possibly find. There's a little bit of crackerness to it. There's a little bit of I dare I say, half to the malt bill for its style. Again, it's not a big beer, but you can definitely get that kind of nice, kind of slightly nice, slightly crackery kind of malt bill to it. That's just below this bursting at the seams citrus kind of hoppiness with this really creamy drinkability. That's the only thing that would lead me down the path of drinking this blind, thinking maybe it's a lager because of how clean it drinks. But man, this is blurring that edge between like a New Zealand Pils, someone's little itty bitty hazy. That's delicious, honestly. I'm so glad I picked up a 4-pack of this now. You know, I was like, Dock Street's been a while. I'm like, no date in the can. I'm like, it's Pilsner. Screw it. I'll grab it. And I think it was the same place. I think it was a month ago. I'm pretty sure I was there a month ago, and they didn't have it. Unless I just blew past it, which I don't think I did. So that's kind of how I keep check a lot of times of cans that don't have dates on them. I'm like, okay, it wasn't here last time, so it's probably give or take a month or two old. But yeah, as far as a New Zealand Pils, very, very tasty. As far as just a very tasty hoppy beer, absolutely fantastic. And honestly, one of the more expressive 5% kind of lager, at least on the hop side of things. Like I said, blurring the lines between a hazy pale lager and just a kind of New Zealand style Pils in a very, very tasty way. So yeah, is this one of the better Pilsners I've had lately? It's really hard to say yes on that, just because of it being so different. But I would have to say yes, and even Mount Rushmore stuff. If we get to like itty bitty hazies, it kind of goes into that, or itty bitty hazy lagers, it still kind of goes into that realm. So it's very, very fun beer and a very cool kind of surprise. Doc sheet, let's put it that way. Value and availability, I want to say this is less. I forget how much I paid, honestly. I want to say it was less than $14, and leave you with off the shelf, obviously, and leave you with, if you like what you like this. If you like hoppy lagers, hoppy little hazies, expressive citrus hop forward beers, you'd be hard pressed to find something at this expressive level, this bright and sunny at this ABV level. Let's put it that way. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Oh, let's look it up. I'm curious to see how old it is now. But what I'm going to do, we'll go to their Instagram, probably the easiest way to do it. But if you want to check me out on all social medias, like I'm doing right now, it's Massive Beers. Type that in the old thing, the search bar. That's what they call it. Street. Okay. I know this is scintillating stuff. That's why I saved it for the end. Oh, it can't be old. Come on now. September 29th is what I see as there. So you're talking about the beginning of October. So you're talking October, November, almost all. So 3 months old. Not super, super old. And honestly, 3 months old, still drinking fantastically. Yeah. Man, they don't post a lot on their social media. I got there that fast. Like I said, Massive Beers is for social media stuff. Beer Massive, podcasting stuff. Doc Street, have you been to the brewery? Have you had our beers? Curious if you've had this one. If you had, talk about it down there. Let me know what you think. All that fun stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of itty bitty happiness right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.